Now, the way I heard this and the way I saw this come out on Twitter was essentially that Sony had a plan to bring Andrew Garfield in to the Madam Web movie. Then they shifted that plan and they were instead going to bring in Tom Holland to that movie. Then they took a step back and figured out that they screwed up the timeline completely. And so then they had to cut out all of the Spider-Man stuff that was already in the movie. Amazing. You know, Sony, hilarious, incompetence, all of this stuff that's really, really funny. But then Jeff Snyder said today that like people are stupid and that's not really what he said. So you know what we should do? Let's pull it up. Let's see what he said. We'll react to it together here, and then we'll make fun of Sony because this shit sounds hilarious. And I hope that it's actually it is actually what happened. So wait a minute, what? But look at this guy. Are you saying we're twinsies, me and Jeff? Hang on a second here. Let me try to strike the same pose. We're the same person. That's amazing. Okay, see what he says.
I mean, if we have this many people watching.
Oh, please, let's do it. Madam Web.
Oh, where is the Madam Web tweet that I had responded to?
Where's the Madam Web
like
tweet?
from
God damn
Bill
it,
Brass.
Jeff! You're already fucking this shit. Okay.
Wheel Brass.
I want to bring it up because I heard a crazy like rumor.
Now I see why you're saying we're the same, because we're at the same level of preparedness. And honestly, I gotta say, I take it all back, Jeff. I'm sorry. I don't know what was in my coffee. We're brothers in Christ. That's
tweet so much, Bill Braskin.
Oh, here it is. All right, hold on. Oh, the Peter Parker thing. Okay, so hold on. Let me bring it up because I have it here. I will share the screen and bring this up so people can look along with us.
I found it. It says, how is this possible, right? Is Peter Parker 10 in this movie's continuity? The movie seems like it's set in modern day, right? So
okay.
I did look for evidence of this. I don't find much, but like I was always under the impression Madam Web was set in the 90s.
Yes, that's what we were told. It's been set in the 90s.
I thought we were told.
Yes.
From what I understand, Madam Web, it was like they thought for some reason that like Andrew Garfield was going to be the Spider-Man in that world. Not that Andrew Garfield was going to be in the movie.
Right.
But like, I don't even know. You know, maybe this is for sequels or for whatever reason. Andrew Garfield
I see what's going
was supposed to be Spider-Man in that world, and then afterwards it was decided it's going to be Tom Holland. Yeah, Tom Holland Spider-Man. So the point was that the ages, the timeline never didn't line up anymore. Okay? So I'd heard that the reshoots for Madam Web, right, the latest reshoots, like I thought they were something else for that.
Yeah.
What all the reshoots were actually to address was to remove all the 90s references from the movie because someone fucked up on like doing the math as far as like Tom Holland's age would actually be this, you know, whatever. So I would just say that when Madam Web's out, don't expect any 90s reference.
Okay, so then it's not set in the 90s. Is that what you're saying? Or are they trying to set it in some nebulous time?
90s, and they got rid of the 90s setting because that made sense when it was in Garfield Spider-Man.
Oh my God.
Not for Tom Holland.
Okay, so let's try to unpack this. So I think this is what's going on. And I think I understand why Jeff is getting upset. And, you know, Jeff Snyder, great guy, good-looking guy, smart as a whip, sharp as a tack, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Now, what he's saying is Madam Web, which is a movie about time travel and seeing the future and a bunch of attractive ladies dressed to make them look less attractive in a Terminator version of Spider-Man, okay? So they had to figure out what Spider-Man or what universe or what are you doing, Sony? What are you doing? And I guess what Jeff is saying is that at one point they were going to make this canonically exist in the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man universe, okay? Which is interesting. And then they like switch it so that it's gonna be Tom Holland Spider-Man. So this is young baby Tom Holland Spider-Man. Like we're in the MCU with Madam Web. I mean, how do you think Kevin Feige is gonna feel about that, right? If they're like, oh, by the way, dude, Madam Web kind of exists in the MCU now. I don't know about that. So essentially what he's saying is they had a plan to tie it to Andrew Garfield canon. Then they kind of switched it to tie into Tom Holland. And so they literally had to then go in and do reshoots to remove all of the 90s references and all of the references that made people think this would have been in the 90s because they just screwed up the timeline, right? Which is still hilarious and still amazing. And you know, like, look, so Jeff's not saying that they would have been in the movie, but I guess here's my question. Why would you tie it to these Spider-Men and then not have them in the movie? And, you know, I've heard a lot of rumors about how this movie might tie into Venom 3, and Venom 3 may be a thing where, you know, there's another young Peter, or maybe the Spider-Man that is referenced in this film shows up in that movie, and you have to wonder, like, was there a plan to have a cameo or some kind of post-credit scene or something like that with the two of them? But I mean, frankly, that is hilarious. Like, that is, because, you know, when it first popped off, didn't many of us think it was going to be Toby, that we were in the timeline of Toby? We were in the era of Toby. And then that apparently isn't true. They were going for Andrew. And then they realized this actually won't make sense if we make it in the 90s. So they literally went in there and spent money to remove all of the 90s references. And I wonder now, like, is it just a completely random version of Spider-Man? Are they still going to try to tie it to Tom Holland? Like, are they tying it to Tom Holland? And that's why they did all of the reshooting and stuff like that? I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, Sony definitely going to Sony. And it just seems like, again, they're super inept at handling this shared universe of Spider-Man films. And I don't know about you guys, but like, I mean, I'm not going to see this movie. Elisa asked me yesterday, she's like, so wait, are we going to see the Madam Web movie? And I was like, absolutely fucking not. Like, what? Like, hell no. And I wonder, chat, are you guys going to go see Madam Web? Like, is everybody gearing up? Because I mean, that's the next big comic book movie of our lives is Madam Web. Oh, look, some of you guys might. Some of you guys might actually see it. That's cool. Yes, just for Sydney Sweeney. I mean, she is, what do they call that? A looker? She's a looker. They used to say that back in the day. That's the old man Josh coming out. She's a looker, I tell you. That Sydney Sweeney, she's a looker. So, you know, okay. But, you know, Elon pretty much ruined Twitter with all the engagement bait, you know, porn bot accounting and everything. I mean, I see more of Sydney Sweeney when I go on Twitter these days than I actually want to. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the Madam Web movie is really going to deliver the goods, as it were. But, hey, to each their own. To each their own. Yeah, interesting, man. Sony gonna Sony. It's funny, but it's also kind of sad. Like what are they even doing over there? And you know, decisions like this, and I mean, they're literally spending money to go in there, remove things from the film just because they're like, yeah, now that we're doing this, that actually doesn't make any fucking sense. So we got to go do all that. It's crazy. It kind of makes you feel a little bit better about Marvel, even though Marvel is certainly going through its own issues right now. At least we haven't reached this level of stupidity and ineptitude over at Marvel Studios yet. So.